Hey guys, and welcome back to Madison Does Sci-Fi. So today we're going to talk about the Orville, because if you're a Trekkie like me, you've been paying pretty close attention to it coming out. Because we have our two big things. It's the Orville and Star Trek Discovery. And if you've even watched one of the Orville trailers, one of your first thoughts is going to be that it's very similar to Star Trek. So Seth MacFarlane is a really big Star Trek fan, and that to me kind of makes me want to be like, you go, dude. You went out and made your own sci-fi series based on Star Trek. Even though he wants it to be taken as his own rendition of sci-fi, it's obvious that he pulled a lot of his muse and ideas from the classic sci-fi Star Trek. So to me, though, I'm really happy to have the Orville out there because, well, first of all, the more sci-fi, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But secondly, the Orville had a really refreshing lightheartedness to it that I really appreciated. Now, that's not to say I don't like dark and gritty, because I certainly do. I think that makes it a lot more realistic. But it was really nice to tune into the Orville and have something that was just fun and still very interesting and still very much sci-fi, but without the super darkness and the depressing, aspects to it. It was really fun just having a laugh at this futuristic crew's very mundane problems. And I think that was what was really appealing to me. One of the parts that really made me laugh was Seth MacFarlane's character, the new captain of the Orville, is meeting his new officers, and one of them, just the first thing he asks is like, he's all, hey, the last captain let us drink sodas on the bridge, is that okay? And Seth's character is just like, yeah, sure, I guess, just don't spill it and keep it underneath the console. And I had such a chuckle at that because it reminded me so much of one of my earlier jobs when I was still working retail. And I remember getting a new boss, and that was the only thing I cared about. Was I still allowed to drink soda, up at the register, as long as it was underneath the, the desk. And so that was kind of funny to me, and it was just made it really seem way more realistic and just mundane. And I kind of just loved that about it. It was so refreshing, and it was really fun. And you can just see Seth's love for Star Trek shining through in so many aspects of it. I mean, they have in his show their own version of the Federation of Planets, and some of the characters were very Star Trek-esque. For example, Lieutenant Commander Boris, I believe his name was so very much like Worf. He had, the ridges and everything, and he was so gruff and serious. He was really the serious one on the bridge, kind of like how Worf is always the overly serious, gotta take everything seriously as possible. And that was just really fun for me, and I can't wait to see more of him, because I heard a rumor that, because his species is only male, and so apparently his mate shows up at one point, so I'm hoping there's going to be, the serious macho guy is going to end up being gay pretty much, and I just can't wait for all of that. And they had another character who was, I think his name's Isaac on the Orville, and he's non-biological, so he's like a robot or an android. So my first thought was, oh, like Data, although Seth definitely tried to make them as different as possible, because his character's robot guy, his species sees humans as like inferior, whereas Data, of course, was always trying to emulate and become more human. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of comes into play. Although I will say I didn't really like Isaac's design. It looked kind of just sloppy. Like the head was okay. Their body just looks kind of cheesy, bad effects. But we'll see. Hopefully I grow to love him. In general, the Orville was really fun. I don't know if Seth is... I really like him. I think he's very smart. He's a good writer. I do enjoy Family Guy. I will say, because I know a lot of people were worried that this was going to be really over the top humor like Family Guy, and it's not at all, at least so far. It's a lot more of just kind of mundane humor. It's not over the top, like super inappropriate humor, although, I mean, the characters are a bit inappropriate, but it's not in an over-the-top way like Family Guy can be. So I thought it was really good. It's definitely not trying to be just nonstop funny. It's definitely, Seth's really trying to make a good sci-fi here, but just one that's still kind of tongue-in-cheek and is still humorous and can laugh at itself. And so I think that's just really great. It's unique. I'm super excited to see where it goes. You know, it should be interesting, especially once Discovery comes out. I'm hoping that it's not going to be the case where only one sci-fi can really dominate. I think they're both really great shows, and they're obviously going to be very different. Discovery looks very dark and gritty, and that's fine, and I love that, and it's very realistic to me, and that's going to be more of probably like, you know, on the edge of your seat type of sci-fi, whereas the Orville gives you something that's lighthearted and fun to watch and is entertaining and gives you a good laugh, but it's still interesting because it's science fiction, and he's definitely not trying to skimp on that aspect of the show. So what did you guys think of the Orville? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite character? Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. The next episode will be about Star Trek Discovery, so be sure to subscribe below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.